The US Congress has passed a funding bill that averts a government shutdown. The bill, which was passed with a bipartisan effort, will fund the government at current levels through March 14. More in this report.
The US Senate, in the early hours of Saturday, passed a stopgap funding package, defying President-elect Donald Trump's demand to greenlight trillions of dollars in new debt. The bill was passed after two failed attempts, averting a government shutdown that would have furloughed thousands of federal workers and bring a tumultuous week in the Congress to a close.
I have very good news for my colleagues and for the country. Democrats and Republicans have just reached an agreement that will allow us to pass the CR tonight before the midnight deadline. After a chaotic few days in the House, it's good news that the bipartisan approach in the end prevailed. It's a good lesson for next year. Both sides have to work together.
The US Senators voted 85-11 to approve a continuing resolution that extends funding at current levels until March 14, provides more than $100 billion in disaster assistance to areas ravaged by hurricanes and other storms, includes economic assistance for farmers. Some Republicans voted against the package because it did not cut spending. US House Speaker Mike Johnson said the party will have more influence next year when they will have majorities in both chambers of the Congress and Trump will be in the White House. Earlier, the bill was passed in the House of Representatives with 341 to 82 votes.
We are really grateful that tonight, in bipartisan fashion, with overwhelming majority of votes, we passed the American Relief Act of 2025. This is a very important piece of legislation. It funds the government, of course, until March of 2025. That was a big priority for us.
Spending plan, known as a continuing resolution, has a bipartisan support. It would fund government through March 14. Deal contains nearly $100 billion in disaster aid and $10 billion more in banking relief for farmers. It would also extend Farm Bill by 1 year, will continue to allow more seniors to use telehealth and reform how pharmacy benefits managers, known as PBMs, operate. More disaster aid funding. Deal would provide nearly $100 billion to help Americans recover from natural disasters. Funding is in line with roughly $100 billion top-line request from Biden administration in November. Bill includes $10 billion in economic aid for farmers. Spending agreement includes 1-year extension of the Farm Bill. The bill will now head to President Joe Biden's desk for his signatures. Antra Sinha's report for DD India.
All right, and DD India correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh is joining us live. Hi, Shubhendu. The spending bill has been passed now and the shutdown has been averted. Get us a little background of what transpired.
Right, Siddharth, we have to understand the importance of what the spending bill is in the larger ecosystem of the US government. You have to understand that for the essential services for the payment of wages, the US government needs to borrow money at regular intervals to be able to make those payments.
Okay.
And these borrowing have to be cleared through the spending bill. When these borrowings are accumulated, that leads to the national debt. United States today is the country in the world that has the highest debt to GDP ratio. It's about 125%. If I simplify that into figures, the US economy is about $29 trillion. The debt that it holds today is approximately worth $36 trillion. So it is very important to keep the debt in order, and therefore increasing the debt ceiling, that was a point of contention in the chaos that we've seen in the Capitol Hill for the past couple of days, was the point of contention. Increasing the debt ceiling that President Donald Trump would have preferred, ideally perhaps even doing away with the debt ceiling, which gives a free play to the government to borrow as much as they need, does jeopardize this debt to GDP wisdom of economy. In that sense, that was at the heart of the chaos that we've been witnessing. But the solution that has been found at the moment has nothing to do with the debt ceiling. They haven't touched the debt ceiling, but the funding has been provided for the payments to be taken forward till March of next year. This is going to be just about a month and a half after President-elect Donald Trump starts his new term. So in that sense, we have to watch out for another similar tussle that would await the then President Trump just about a month and a half into White House.
Indeed, Shubhendu. I mean, You've brilliantly told us, the background of what transpired. But Shubhendu, how does these developments around the bill impact Trump 2.0?
That's an interesting question, Siddharth. Now, we have to understand that the landscape of the US Capitol and US politics, for that matter, is set to transform next year. All the elections are, of course, done. Donald Trump, Republican president, will take the White House. The Republicans would also have a majority, although a slim majority, in both the House of Representatives as well as the Senate. So theoretically, on paper, it may seem it's going to be a cakewalk for President Donald Trump. But we've just seen the second bill that was supported by President-elect Donald Trump was shot down. And in shooting down that bill, there were about 38 Republicans, members of his own party in the House of Representatives, who opposed it. The House of Representatives, they also see a certain wisdom in maintaining the concept of debt ceiling. A similar status quo might be there when President Trump takes power next year, when he has to negotiate with the House of Representatives. Although it will have a majority of the Republicans in the House, he may still face a similar challenge. And also, besides the spending bill, there would be additional reforms that President Trump would want to move forward with, particularly the tax cuts that he is popular for. But again, those tax cuts put additional fiscal burden that adds to the debt to GDP ratio that I spoke about. So in that sense, we are actually on a standby to see another tussle between the White House and the House of Congress come March 2025.
All right. And Shubhendu, can you tell us more about the dynamics between Trump and Elon Musk in the entire drama that unfolded?
Absolutely, Siddharth. One person who is not the part of the government as yet, but does exercise significant influence, some would say disproportionate influence, is Elon Musk. We've seen through the campaigning season the manner in which there was a camaraderie for everyone to see. Donald Trump, of course, has appointed Elon Musk to head the Department of Efficiency. But we saw that when the first version of the bill came, a bipartisan bill to take care of the spending of the government, Elon Musk was the first person to tweet. Multiple tweets came out saying that this was a left-leaning spending bill and should not be supported. It was immediately followed by Donald Trump, in fact, putting his weight behind the opposition to the bill, and we saw the bill being shot down. In that sense, many Democrats in particular, perhaps jokingly, but are referring to Elon Musk as the shadow president, that he is the one who perhaps is taking the shots. Some even called him President Elon Musk and referred to Donald Trump as just Donald Trump. We'll have to wait and watch how this influence on Donald Trump pans out for Elon Musk in the coming weeks. Especially after Donald Trump becomes the next president of the United States. Many say that this friendship, given how outspoken both of them are, may be short-lived, but it would be interesting to watch out how they play together or don't.
Definitely. We leave with that. Thank you so much, Shubhendu.